Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Training Tuesday. I'm Heidi Reese, Dayton Superior's Training Programs Manager, and I'm very happy that you've come to join us on this Tuesday, especially since the 4th of July is happening this week. Want to go over a couple of items before we get going, just like normal. Everybody that has joined the call has joined muted, but I still want you to ask questions, participate, chat, whatever, through the chat and Q&A functionality in Zoom. At the end of the presentation, we'll definitely have a mini question answer session for you. And if there's no time, we'll get those for you after the fact. You can still ask them and we'll get them answered offline. As a reminder, each of our webinars are recorded and placed both on our Dayton Superior YouTube channel as well as DaytonSuperior.com. Just search Training Tuesday on DaytonSuperior.com and you can get to all of them there, as well as another link to register for the next one. Okay, so like normal, this presentation is intended for training purposes only. If you need anything in regards to the products that we're going to mention within this presentation, please refer to DaytonSuperior.com, where you can get technical specifications, application guides, you name it. But please look at that information so that you know how to adequately and safely use our products. So Dayton Superior, we are the leading provider of engineered solutions for the concrete construction industry. You may know us from the Simons Forming and Shoring or chemicals, concrete repair and restoration. We handle bridge decks, rebar splicing, precast and tilt-up construction, and a lot of other accessories. You name it, we've got it for the most part. So I want to let you know we're talking more residential today, but we also have a very diverse and big commercial line. A lot of these products can be across the board. We're going to show you how it is manageable and done for the residential concrete solutions. And here today we have two gentlemen that's going to be talking through this presentation and helping you understand it. We're going to be talking about all the things you see on a line right now. And you see the house, we've got foundations and basement. We've got garages, driveway, patio, sidewalk, pool and paver, concrete, huh? Sounds familiar, right? All right, so who are we going to hear from first? We're going to hear from none other than Mr. Chuck Hope. He is our National Training Manager. In addition, we've got Mr. Paul Monin here. He's our Chemical Technical Support Specialist. And like I said, we're going to hear from Chuck first. He has a civil engineer and business degree and has been in the industry for almost 50 years. 29 of them being a part of Dayton Superior. And we're really grateful to have him as a part of the family, not only for his wealth of knowledge, but for his tireless assistance whenever anyone needs it, for understanding applications, products. I'm really talking about me, but a lot of people in the company need it too. And I love working with this man every day. Well, now that I've said this, I've got to really talk up Paul. Just kidding. Paul's awesome too. No kidding. He is a graduate of Ohio University and has grown up working in the construction supply business. His professional experience includes a wide variety of industry topics and expertise. And I'm only going to name a few here. He has worked as the environmental health technician. He's done both inside and outside sales positions. He's done warehouse management and shipping and receiving roles. So you're seeing a sense, of a holistic approach here. It's really cool. And now he's our technical support specialist where he is. Are you eager? Because I'm saying you're eager to help. Are you?
I'm very eager.
Okay. He's eager to assist the customers with their technical challenges and questions. So Chuck, take it away, my friend. I'll switch the slide there for you. Ready to go.
Well, thank you, Heidi. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we have for the residential marketplace. And when we're talking, when Heidi alluded to foundations, basements, garages, basically general concrete repair, driveways, sidewalks, patios, porches, and pool areas. So with that, we've gone through here. Let's start with foundations. So everything we do in residential pretty much starts with the foundation. So with foundation, we have modular forming. We have John system forming if you want to form with plywood. We have ties that will match up to pretty much almost every system in the marketplace. And we have bar supports and obviously rebar connecting systems available. For light forming, basically sticks and boards. You can see the John system here uses a snap tie with either a bracket or C bracket. We can also go to a Sherlock system with that type of a system. And we can do snap ties and tie wedges also. If you're looking at more of a consistent system that actually is reusable, much more reusable than standard plywood, you have the steel ply system. Typically, if you're a housing contractor, a residential contractor, light commercial contractor, this is the system that's probably the most popular in the industry. It's obviously the most copied system in the marketplace.
And why do they copy?
Why?
Because
You
we're
only
awesome.
copy the best. So you're looking at typically the panels are about 5 pounds per square foot, 1,000 pounds PSF. The steel, it's a steel frame, 1/2 inch plywood face. And that plywood can either be HDO, MDO, or birch plywood. And these systems in Dayton is the only manufacturer that actually sells and rents systems to contractors. And we also rent all the accessories, wedge bolts, one-piece whaler clamp, turnbuckles, etc. Scaffold brackets are also part of that package that we rent, along with any of the safety equipment involved with it. We have bar supports. Anytime you place concrete and you're putting bar supports in, you typically want to space that bar support within this as close as you can to the center of the concrete slab. And typically a bar support is a good choice for that. It actually supports the bar, helps keep the bar in position until you pour the concrete around it. And with that, we have a multitude of choices and possibilities. Here we have the metal version, and you can get the metal versions in any of these different configurations, typically galvanized, epoxy, plain. So we have a multitude of choices here, as long as with plain material. This bar support typically runs through. This is the older style. More people start shying away from the metal just because it can lead to rust in the slab. So a lot of people now and today, in my personal preference, is plastic. Plastic bar supports typically are a little bit stronger than the metal. They actually do not rust. They actually come in a multitude of different options. You can get it that will, you can tie the rebar to the chair, or you can actually clip it to the rebar chair itself. So no tying is required. You can actually take this and you can have space wheels, which will actually help keep the bar equilateral from the top surface, especially in a wall surface, from both sides of the wall at the same time. So you're looking at a multitude of different choices, and we have it with sand bases or without sand bases. And the sand base is typically used when you're doing it on fresh ground type application. If you're using a chair and you're using rebar, you're going to want to clip it and tie it into place. Well, the easiest and fastest way to do that is with the Cody clip. The system here is a rebar fastening system. Uses a polycarbonate clip, non-corrosive, snaps into position. The clips are basically identified by color based on size of the rebar that's connected, and typically gives you a stronger grid so that when you grab a hold of the grid or you're going to place it, you don't get any racking within the system. Any place you need rebar to be tied, it's one of the key components with the Cody clip system. You can use it any place you have to, especially in and around areas which can be exposed to moisture which can actually cause rust within the system. Nice thing about Cody is you can use it with black bar, epoxy bar, stainless bar, galvanized bar. And obviously, if you're looking at new projects running around here within the last 3, 4 years, have been more and more composite bar applications. Typically, what you would do in this case here, just take the Cody clip, attach it to the bar, and you're good to go. You can also attach it to structural mesh. So we can actually do a number 3 bar with this. As we said, all the clips were designed by color code. They all match up to the color for the size rebar applied. So you can see, like for a 4 and a 4 bar, you would actually have a red clip down in the bottom left-hand corner. Clips themselves, typically the guns themselves, actually, we have 2 versions available. We have a pneumatic gun. Typically, each gun on the pneumatic side is based off the size of rebar and the size of the clip that it'll attach. But we also have a brand new battery powered gun, so if you don't have to drag that hose around on job site anymore.
And you know what, Chuck? In
What's
2
that?
weeks, we're gonna really talk about this sucker. So
Ah,
it's
there
gonna
you
be
go.
fun.
So stay tuned for that presentation coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Do you like how I did that marketing plug?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, back at it.
Our electric Cody or battery operated Cody clip gun typically will do 2 sizes right now. It's a 4 and a 5 bar. Coming soon will be a number 6 bar shortly. And from there, once you get the rebar attached, you can now pour your concrete. So what do we talk about? We're talking about garages, driveways, sidewalks, patios, pools, and general repair. But once you pour your concrete, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Manan here, who's actually going to talk about the chemicals that will be used with this.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta mark this one down in the ledger. Trained with Chuck Hope online, lifetime achievement. So Dayton Superior has a lot of chemical offerings, and being in technical services, I take a lot of calls from residential contractors and even do-it-yourselfers who buy our products directly from distributors and are trying to figure things out. So it's really nice for me to have the opportunity today to discuss our products and how they fit in the residential world. Before I even get into products, Heidi, I'm thrilled to be able to talk about this today.
How
Cu-
thrilled are you?
curing-
Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Curing concrete is so important, and a lot of people in the field, and especially in the residential world, don't understand curing concrete. Like, what is curing concrete? What isn't curing concrete? What products can be applied to the top of concrete to cure it, and what will only assist in water retention? That's a whole different discussion. But I want you guys to remember, if you remember one thing from the chemical portion of this today, is if you have a concrete contractor, or if you are doing concrete at your home, use an ASTM C309 approved curing compound to cure the concrete. It makes the concrete a lot stronger. Heidi selected a few here: Clear Cure VOC J7WB, Clear Resin Cure J11W, and Resin Cure with Dye J11WD. All of these are ASTM C309 approved membrane forming curing compounds that are easily removed. J7WB is the most sensitive. The J11W and J11WD start to break down about 30 to 60 days after application, and they can be easily removed with a power sprayer, stiff bristle broom, Dawn, and if needed, something like our citrus cleaner, citrus stripper J48 can be used to remove these curing compounds. These curing compounds are most used in applications where the cure is going to be removed afterwards, and there's going to be some kind of secondary treatment, like a water repellent or something like that. But if you don't cure the concrete, there are so many things that can happen over the life. Even if you're using a dissipating cure, something that's on there for 30 days, that 28-day period in which your concrete is new, it gains 99% of its structural strength. Over the life of the concrete, the payback on putting down a curing compound is tenfold, so you don't have to tear out and replace. It reduces the permeability of concrete. It increases its abrasion resistance. It makes it stronger. It makes it last longer. It reduces dusting and cracking. Curing concrete is very important. So if you use a dissipating curing compound and you want to come back with a water repellent, that's a good idea on exterior concrete. Some people use densifiers. We'll get into a few of those kind of options in a little bit. Otherwise, if you aren't planning on doing a secondary treatment on the concrete, most times in residential applications, I recommend a cure and seal because they're resilient. They last longer. You can see there's 10 million variations over there on the left, water-based ones. There are solvent-based ones. We make low VOC variations that are available in really restrictive VOC regions like Southern California. So the offerings in your area as far as cure and seals are going to be a little bit different from place to place. But they're great products and they have a huge place in the residential world because it's something you can put down one time thin after concrete's poured. And it has a lasting membrane that protects the concrete over time and also assists in water retention so the concrete comes into full strength. We also have some resealing options. If we were to use a dissipating cure and you want to come back and use a high gloss option, AgriGloss J25, Tough Seal J35, and their low VOC variations are good options for that. I tend to recommend Ultra Seal EF in indoor environments where people want to use an acrylic sealer because you should never use a solvent-based sealer indoors. You'll get a headache. It's not a good idea. It's a big headache for us and them when we try to discuss this stuff after this happens. Cure and seals, though, think shiny. That's kind of the idea. There are matte variations, semi-gloss variations. Water-based products tend not to luster as much as solvent-based products. But cure the concrete, very important stuff. For driveways, these are huge investments for people. People spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. I hate hearing when people call in and say, you know, it wasn't cured properly, because that's a killer. Let's talk about Topcast. Topcast is fun. Curing is boring. Topcast is not. Topcast is an awesome system of products. They're basically water-based products that spray down on new concrete, and it slows the set of the surface of the concrete. Then you can come back and with a power sprayer or with scrubbing equipment, wash off and achieve different etches in an exposed aggregate sort of architectural look. These are very widely specified. They're very popular commercially and residentially. I've noticed I've been doing sales and working in the office side of the business at large for about a decade. I've seen huge growth in Topcast and surface retarders in general in terms of their specification and their use in residential applications. If you're a residential contractor who focuses more on room finished concrete and you aren't into stamping or too decorative of stuff, and somebody calls you asking for a sand look or an exposed aggregate look, you don't need to worry about not being a decorative contractor. The stuff is very easy to use. And you can see there, it's all custom formulated. There are 12 etch levels, all the way from like a light acid wash finish, where it's a sand finish, all the way to a full-on exposed aggregate, coarse rock look. And when a high gloss sealer is applied, especially to the deeper etches, it really is a brilliant looking decorative look. It's a lot less expensive than stamping. Highly recommend looking into that if you're looking for some pretty concrete residentially.
I like pretty concrete.
I do too. I'm a big fan of it. We also have a whole system of finishing options for the Topcast. We'll go through kind of all these various products kind of in one block here. Before we get into the finishing options though, Site Saver. The Topcast can stain things around it. So if you were spraying Topcast down on new concrete that was poured next to an existing building, you can see here this photo on the left is what it's going to look like. You want to tape off all around it, but that's a lot of work. You can just spray this Site Saver to these surfaces and it will protect against the Topcast from staining. Handy product to have around. I've been talking about the EX200 almost uncomfortable amounts this year. We did a little in the know about it recently. The Topcast EX200, if you are doing a lot of Topcast day in, day out as a residential contractor, or if you're working a commercial setting, working in large pours, I cannot stress enough how handy this product is to have. He buys you more time to wash off the top cast. It slows down the set of that top surface of the concrete even more than the top cast surface retarder already slows that down. So it's a time buyer. Time is valuable. Time is money. The other thing it does though is it kind of locks in the etch to a certain extent and for a certain amount of time. It works its way down through the slowed cement matrix at the top to kind of the bottom of it, and it only affects that area. So it helps aid uniformity. And where I've been recommending this even more than in hot weather, we need to move fast on this, we need to buy time kind of applications, is in applications where there is shade and there is sun on a sunny, hot day. If you're going from pour to pour and you're pouring from shade into the sun or sun into the shade, that adds a lot of variables with wash off time. If you have the same truck, if you have multiple trucks coming, doing multiple pours, and you're working them all together, you want to ensure uniformity. EX200 is great for that. If you're doing top cast all the time, I would highly recommend having it on hand. The penetrating protector is a densifier and water repellent, very good for performance. I would probably recommend this more around a pool or a high stress area, somewhere where the environmental factors are very strenuous. If you have a walkway that is decorative, walking up to an entranceway of a business, and you're putting salt on it all winter, densifiers, water repellents do kind of good with those. Cure and Seal 400, nothing too fancy there, just an acrylic cure and seal, formulated with the top cast system in mind. And the high gloss sealer is like a reseal product. If you want to prettify the pretty concrete even more, make it shiny, HG 500 is your dog. Here are some good examples of top cast residential applications. I'm telling you that this is really a growing business. And I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record, but if you do concrete residentially, if you have a small crew, if you're a small company and you're trying to find things you can add to your portfolio that aren't like a ton of equipment or tools like stamping, it doesn't require a ton of know-how and expertise. I keep going back to stamping because everybody likes stamped concrete. This is way easier than stamped concrete. It's way less expensive. And you can see from these photos I'm showing you that this is really cool looking stuff. If you happen to live in the Dayton area, there is a large music venue up in Huber Heights, the Rose Music Center, where typecast 03 Violet was specified and applied there. Yep.
I didn't know that. I had to take some pictures.
Yeah, we supplied that back in the day.
That's awesome. Real quick, and I usually don't ask questions in between.
Yeah.
You are talking Topcast, and there's a question about, is there a limitation on Topcast with freeze/thaw geographically?
In terms of where it can be applied, no. The top cast should be applied when concrete can be poured. Cold weather concreting need to be kept in mind if when doing top cast in adverse conditions. But as far as if you live in the UP or if you live in Canada and you're concerned about the lifespan of a top cast surface, I would highly recommend the penetrating protector product and regular kind of best practices with concrete maintenance. It won't hold up very differently than broom finished concrete. It's durable.
Yep.
So I wouldn't worry too much about where you're located in terms of whether or not to like make that decision and use top cast. I think I answered that question.
You did. And one more real quick. Do you have an approved applicator for Topcast? I know we don't necessarily have approved, but we have what is best. So, and we have a Topcast presentation out there that'll show you, what's it called? The broom thing that they.
Swing scrubber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like
how
the
do
removal
you-
process?
For the applicator, what do you use for Topcast?
Spraying it,
Mhm.
3.5 gallon chaping sprayer
There we go. That's what
with
I
a fan
needed.
tip.
And then to take it off, you can either,
Power wash,
Mhm.
or you can use a hose and a stiff bristle broom.
or the thing I'm trying to talk about.
Or a swing scrubber.
There we go.
Yes, a walk behind scrubber.
Yeah.
A lot of times in large pores, commercial settings, that's what we recommend.
Yeah.
Just because they're blowing through so much of it, it's really hard to get all of it with power sprayer.
Could be
at any
overkill
time.
for a residential.
Yes, exactly. But residential, I first time I ever did top cast, it was a garden hose with the little spray attachment and a stiff bristle broom.
And I did that out back when we did our video.
It's
Alright.
easy to remove.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can't wait till we get to talk about our new leveling products.
Okay.
We'll get into that some other time. Thin resurfacer is a nice little product for exterior areas, interior areas where you need just a little. You aren't forming and pouring, you aren't cutting out, you need to resurface. A feather edge to half inch. Stuff is very, very sticky, very, very polymer modified. I don't normally recommend this to be used over huge, huge spaces because there are a lot of self-leveling materials on the market that are a lot easier to work with. But this stuff is tenacious and it does a very nice job in patching small areas. A lot of people get out during the spring and they start looking at the concrete and they're like, oh, look at that corner over there. That could use some work. Thin resurfacer is probably what you're looking for in a horizontal setting. Or if it's a vertical surface, superior wall finish. Superior wall finish was really developed with the tilt-up market in mind as a rubbing compound and a wall treating compound. But if you have a concrete wall with bug holes, just not looking so good, structurally intact though, and it doesn't have grease, oil, contaminants on it, and you want to make it a nice looking gray concrete wall, Superior Wall Finish is an industry leader as far as performance goes. It's a very nice, creamy, easily mixable and handleable product. Really recommend Superior Wall Finish for vertical applications. If you are working in the basement and you have a sump pump that has a PVC pipe going through the wall and there is a leak around it, if you have an active water leak in your basement at any point and it is large enough to get cement into, there is a beautiful thing called hydraulic cement. Ours is called water stop. Non-corrosive, non-rusting. This stuff sets up really fast. We were talking about applying it the other day, and most of the time it's literally glove up your hand with a disposable glove, plug the hole with the stuff after getting it to like a dry pack consistency, and it will set up in the hole and stop the water leak. You can also use a trowel to just kind of hold it there for a little bit while it dries up. Water Stop's like a miracle product. Whoever came up with that stuff, I hope they're really, really rich. Propoxy 50 and 100 are also used for waterproofing in basements. These are full-on structural repair products for epoxy injection. We also sell the capping epoxies for these, typically just an anchoring epoxy like our Propoxy 300 Fast. All the ports and all the little knickknacks and accessories you'll need to apply this stuff with a double cartridge or single cartridge caulk gun is in our sales catalog. So if you are preparing for an epoxy injection job in your basement and you want to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, call Dayton Superior and we'll help you out with that. And with that, I'll send it back to Heidi.
Awesome. Great. So we always talk resources. We've got some resources. We have product pages, whether you want to find out the actual product, you want to purchase it online, you want more information. I know we have a couple questions that we need to answer for Topcast. And with that, we can even find information resources on Training Tuesday, so you can find more information. We'll get to those questions in a minute. In addition to product pages, we have technical data sheets and safety data sheets. You see them there. Obviously, use them. It's the safest and the best way you can get the information that you need for mixing and all that. We have handbooks, whether it's the chemical handbook, the forming accessories, bar supports, whatnot. And we have guide documents, whether they're application guides or a guide to epoxies, a guide to whatever. We have them all on DaytonSuperior.com. In addition, there's a specification assistance where you can put in your question and it goes straight to like a Paul, and he can provide you with the information, not just with our own Dayton Superior products, although we want that and we like that, but we can help with our competitor products as well to see if they're specified. In addition, on DaytonSuperior.com, we have brochures and much more. We have the YouTube channel that I'm always talking about. We have a who to contact map specifically around for all of our dealers. If you are in, I don't know, Alaska, you can find your Alaska state and you can see the number and the email address on who will be your sales representative, your technical service representative, whether it be for chemical or precast or tilt up or anything that we have. And you can find Chuck and I's information out there as well. And this is really exciting. As we know, we're the first of the month. I hope you guys got your email yesterday I'm actually sitting in the room not only with our Mr. Chuck and Mr. Monin, but my marketing friends who have actually sent that email to you. And let the hot deals roll. I'm saying that, but we've got a summer savings out there. It's for pools, it's for residential. And a lot of these products that we discussed are on special. We have more than the products that we discussed on special that can help you with your residential job site. So please contact your sales representative for details for the pricing, the terms and conditions, and the availability. So you guys are over there on my computer. Are you answering questions, or do we need to say anything out
I'm
loud?
answering questions.
Should we share?
Yeah, one person asked if you need to be, one person asked if you need to be approved to apply TopCast. Like if there's like a training program that we provide, no, that we don't do that. That's not really within the scope of what we do.
But we do have the training if you want
Yes,
it,
we will
yeah.
train you and support you on the product, but if you are a residential contractor who wants to get into this, you can just go to your local distributor and tell them you want to order TopCast, and they'll order the TopCast, or they'll have it right there for you. And I also have another question here about applying the site saver on the slab on accident, like if they're spraying the wall. So if you apply the site saver over the slab, you have to remove it before you apply TopCast. Yes, absolutely. I fully encourage that. Dawn, hot water, that should do it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what it is. Clean your concrete before you do anything to it,
Yes,
basically,
yes,
right?
yes.
So,
And yeah, you don't want to, you don't
for
want
best
to,
results.
you don't want anything sitting between the TopCast and what it's trying to etch.
Sure. Awesome. Thanks for the questions. Is there any other questions? Paul's got my computer. You can ask
Yep.
whatever you want and he'll just answer, and I can pretend to be smart.
Yeah, we got all of our questions answered so far.
Anything going down in chat here?
Chat.
So you guys, so we don't provide PDF presentations for future. We do, however, have, like I said, we put them out there so you can re-listen to this conversation and you can kind of look at it. And that is a recording. It should be out there about 4 o'clock today. And I have, if you search that Training Tuesday on DaytonSuperior.com, there is 2 links. The first one will provide you with the latest 4 Training Tuesdays that we've done. And in addition, you can go down the line and say, oh, I want to look at some chemicals, or I want to look at some bar supports, and they're all organized that way for you. Anything else?
Everything's all quiet on the western front.
I had to read that in high school.
700.
Yeah. All right. So if you need more training, I love the questions, and we're at time right now, but there's a QR code on your screen at the moment. Or you can do training at DaytonSuperior.com that goes to Chuck and myself, and we can chat about, more in-depth training on anything that you want. Lunch and learn. We've got specialists that can provide you with virtual or on site, and we can, send you out a TopCast person to do some little demonstrations or whatnot. So just select that and get with us, and we'll make it happen for you. And if that is all, no questions, then you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Have a wonderful and safe 4th of July coming up this Thursday, right? And we will talk to you next Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Paul, you say thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye now.